Hi, at Midwest Functional Medicine, we want you to understand your health. We want you to understand your condition. We want you to be educated. You should be a participant in your health care. Yes, I understand that this is complicated information. There's probably no way you're going to get 100% understanding from it, but the more you know, the more when you're reading things online, you'll be able to sort out what's good and what's not so good, and you're reading a study, you'll understand what they're talking about. And I just think that education is very, very important. We try as best we can to educate our patients at Midwest Functional Medicine. So today we're going to go through these different enzymes, and these enzymes are produced by genes in your body. And if you have these SNPs, that can be very important key to what the root cause of your problem is. So the first one is a pretty common one, and it's also probably the best well-known SNP, and it's MTHFR, and that stands for methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase. And if you get that on a Scrabble game, you win. But methyl tetrahydrofolate helps your body to make methyl groups. Methyl groups are just small chemicals that attach onto the genes and turn your genes off and on. So you can imagine how important that would be, that you're able to do that effectively. So if there are problems in the MTHFR gene, it can cause a wide range of problems. Now the COMT gene, makes catechol O methyltransferase. The COMT gene is very important too because it degrades hormones in your body. For instance, when you're under stress, and you secrete stress hormones, your body has to get rid of those stress hormones. And this is the enzyme that does that. It degrades stress hormones. So this is very important in mood disorders, in people that don't have a very good handle on dealing with stress effectively. The FUT2 gene is also another one that I think is very interesting. The FUT2 gene, it helps us to divide up people between secretors and non-secretors. And this is very important in digestive problems because a secretor is someone whose blood antigens get secreted into the mucus in your digestive tract, your saliva, and the mucus in your gut. And that helps your body to tell better what bad bugs and what things that aren't supposed to be there. It helps your body to identify that so it can mount an attack against it and keep it clean in there. So if you're a non-secretor, that means that your antigen, your blood antigens, are not getting secreted into that mucus. And that can be a problem. That can generate some digestive disorders. So now we're going to go through some of the biochemical pathways and take this one step further and show you how we fit all this together to help you when you have one of these SNPs, or one of the 30 or so SNPs that we know have good scientific evidence that causes a health problem.
Okay, so first of all, don't freak out. This is a pathway by which your body makes methyl groups. It's the beginning pathway that your body makes methyl groups. And it certainly is not my intention to try to even dig into how this pathway works. It's because of course it's very complicated. But what I do want to show you, and what I want you to get from this slide and this part of the video, is that all of these are enzymes. All of these here are enzymes. So we have an enzyme here, and an enzyme here, and an enzyme here. And this pathway comes down to the MTHFR gene right here. And then it comes up this way to this gene, the MTR gene or enzyme. I want you to pay close attention to this MTR here, because of this MTR on the next slide, we're going to show you another pathway that connects on to right here. And that is important in making methyl groups. But what I want you to get from this is each one of these enzymes, if you look here, like the MTHFR, they have things that will stimulate that gene and things that will slow it down. This is like a brake, if this right here. So these things will slow down the MTHFR gene. One that you have direct control over is folic acid. Folic acid is an additive that they put into foods. And so if you have a MTHFR gene or a SNP, then you would want to reduce or eliminate your folic acid intake. That folic acid is a man-made chemical. It's not the same as folate. So folates, if you look up here, come from leafy greens. And folates are good for this pathway. You'd want to increase your leafy greens. What stimulates the MTHFR are these fatty acids, DHA and ALA. And so all along this pathway, there are things that we can stimulate the pathway and things that we can do to slow down this pathway. Here you see B6. If that was in this pathway, that might be something that would help us. Because when you see this little line that comes out here, that means that B6 is important to make this reaction happen. So B6 would be important there. Right here, zinc is important. Right here. So now I'm going to show you the next slide. That next pathway fits right here where the MTR is. So I'm going to show you the next slide here. Okay, so once again, don't freak out. But this slide fits, or this pathway fits next to that pathway. Here's that MTR enzyme right here. And so that other pathway fits over here. And here's the zinc that we talked about that is important for this reaction, for this part of the pathway to go. Cobalamin, methylcobalamin, is B12. So we can support this pathway with vitamin B12. And again, my goal here is not to teach what this pathway is. My goal is to show you that there are things that we can do to support these pathways, and either by adding something or taking something away. For instance, over here we have polyphenols, tea and coffee. We'll put a brake on this. You know, we can, if we're interested in this part, we know that zinc is involved. Cortisol is stress. So that one is important to eliminate if we're working on this pathway. Fasting and starvation here. That can also help us to change and affect this pathway. So the point is that genes are not destiny. If you have a SNP, it's important to know that, because that's could be a root cause of the problem. But it doesn't mean that you're, just because you have that particular genetic makeup means that nothing's going to change. It doesn't mean that at all. What it means is that we have a great idea on what's causing your problem, and we can adapt and change and clean up those genes so that they work better, they function better, and you can enjoy an increase in health. Okay, if you're interested in the last video, go ahead and watch it. It's got a lot of extra information on genes, but it doesn't really have much to do with increasing your health. It's just more information for you. All right, have a good day.